Welcome to the SVG-TV Evening News and Sports for Friday, March 7th. I'm KAHLIL with the details. A new health cooperation agreement was signed here today between the governments of SVG and Cuba. Cuban Ambassador, His Excellency Pablo Vidal, who signed on behalf of the Cuban government, says the agreement signals the strengthening of the friendship between the friendship and cooperation between SVG and Cuba. Ambassador Vidal described the health cooperation agreement as one of the noblest areas of human rights that Cuba could provide for Vincentians, that of improved health and wellness.
Times change, also the conditions, and agreement expire. That's why, once again, the Republic of Cuba and St. Vincent and the Grenadines sit at the table to sign an agreement governing the basis of such cooperation. As mentioned in the text of the agreement, the Republic of Cuba can and is willing to aid St. Vincent and the Grenadines in its effort to improve its services by sending Cuban professionals to St. Vincent and the Grenadines with the aim of strengthening its health system, and that fundamentally is the purpose of the newly signed agreement: regulate the way in which we will make that possible. Today are present with us all Cuban collaborators, members of our medical brigade in this country, and I think that it's important to recognize the work they are doing here.
There are currently 5 Cuban health professionals serving here, in 4 medical doctors, 1 district medical officer, 1 gynecologist, an ultrasound specialist, and a radiologist, and 1 pharmacist. Replacement specialists are expected to arrive here by the beginning of April. The ambassador took the opportunity to thank the people and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines for accepting the Cuban personnel here by enabling the physicians to be parts of their lives.
I believe that the stay of our doctors and personnel here has not only served to help the Vincentian people in their health needs, but also for the Cubans, St. Vincent and the Grenadines was a school, and they also learn a lot from you. I take this opportunity also to thank the Ministry of Health, Wellness and Environment, not only to the Honorable Minister and the Permanent Secretary, but also all those who in one way or another have helped our collaborators to pass the time in St. Vincent more pleasant, having in mind that they are far away from Cuba and from their families. I include in this not only the people that work in the ministry, also all the co-workers at the hospitals and clinics, even the drivers who transport them to their workplaces every day, and some others.
Meanwhile, Minister of Health Clayton Burgin, who signed on behalf of this country's government, says the aim of the new agreement is to strengthen the health sector here.
As everyone may be aware, we are now improving and working upon the health sector to coincide with the change in time and everything that is possible within the health sector of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the world over, because we are in different times and different trends and so on, and we have to keep up with the modernization of everything. And for that we are grateful to the government and the people of the Republic of Cuba for the continued assistance given to us in St. Vincent and the Grenadines where that is concerned.
Burgin says the people and government of SVG are grateful for the assistance given by the Cuban government and people in several areas, including health and education. He says the skills of persons who studied in Cuba and the Cuban physicians here will greatly enhance the capability and capacity of the Ministry of Health.
Not only in health have you worked with us, but in other areas of development. And most persons here and who listening would realize that you have been to our aid in the building of the modern medical complex. You have brought your professionals to assist us in that area, and they have been working steadfastly to try to get that facility completed so that it could be up and running and provide an additional service to the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and for that we are grateful. And I want to take this opportunity to welcome the new specialists who are here this morning with us, and to tell you that we are a warm people like your fellow citizens in Cuba. And my health professionals and all other persons will do their best to make your stay here very comfortable and to treat you as another Vincentian.
The first health cooperation agreement between Cuba and SVG was signed on June 19, 2007. A quantity of furniture and equipment to be used towards strengthening and modernizing of facilities and structures under the Juvenile Justice Reform Project was handed over to the Ministry of National Mobilization earlier today. The items will be allocated to the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, Family Affairs Division, Guadalupe Home of Girls, Ministry of National Reconciliation, Police Youth Club, and Salvation Army. A representative of the Ministry of National Mobilization says the items will also be used to strengthen civil society linkages for all state and non-state bodies within the juvenile sector. With International Women's Day to be celebrated tomorrow, March 8th, former parliamentarian Rene Baptiste says she believes women's equality exists in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and congratulated the government for creating avenues for equality. That should be avenues of equality for Vincentian women. Baptiste, who serves as the Speaker of the OECS Parliament and President of the local Bar Association, was at the time addressing a rally at Heritage Square to commemorate the day. Baptiste, also a former Culture Minister, highlighted the achievements of Acting Prime Minister and Minister of Education Gerlin Miguel for her induction into Parliament of SVG some 16 years ago.
Acting Prime Minister, who is the head of government, is a woman. And for the visitors who are here, and I know there's some people who still don't get the message, Honorable Gerlin Miguel, please come forward. We want them to see you and know. We sat in Parliament together. She entered Parliament 1998 as the only elected woman then. And she's still in Parliament today, and she is the Deputy Prime Minister and Acting Prime Minister of our country. Young people, do you want anything else to show you what inspires change in your country?
Meanwhile, the acting PM urged all women to see themselves as special creatures created by God. Miguel added that when she was appointed to the Ministry of Social Development, she saw that it was missing a department to deal with gender issues.
It was there that I met a woman's desk with one woman. And I said, no, it cannot work this way. If our women must be liberated, if our women must be empowered, we have to have the men alongside us. And so we set up that Gender Affairs unit. And I congratulate the unit today for organizing today's event.
And women are being called upon to prepare themselves to rule publicly. Director of Gender Affairs and coordinator of today's event, Olliver, called on women to stand up for themselves and not to be afraid to take up positions at the top.
We know that women have always been guardians of wisdom and humanity, and which makes them natural, but usually secret rulers. And I say the time has come for them, or I can say the time has come for us to rule openly, but together with and not against the men. We do much, we eat as much as them, and we want as much as them. So inspiring change is quite fitting today, and it's going to be done, and let's do it. Let's create the kind of change that we are looking for.
And the Minister of National Mobilization, Frederick Stephenson, took the opportunity to salute women and girls in the country for their achievements thus far.
Celebrate the achievements of women past, present, and those to come. Today is also used to provide an opportunity for local communities to recognize and celebrate women's achievements and their contributions to national development. And so today, I wish to applaud all the women of St. Vincent and the Grenadines who have made significant contributions to national development and have been agents of change in their own local community.
Meanwhile, President of the Human Rights Association, Nicole Sylvester, urges the government to continue to commit to gender equality and the empowerment of women as a fundamental human right. In a media release, Sylvester says too many women have suffered and continue to suffer abuse, whether physical or mental, in domestic relationships, and that those women who enter into a political arena have been subjected to insult and debasement. Sylvester says despite these issues, women continue to strive for equality and in many instances have achieved great academic and professional success. She also points out that women here are concerned about the health facilities and the level of unemployment in the society and encourage the efforts of individuals, government and non-governmental authorities to wrest these issues. The Human Rights Association president calls on women to appreciate their worth and, as they celebrate International Women's Day, to inspire change and be the change. We're still on the local scene. The 25th intersessional meeting of the Conference of Heads of Governments of the Caribbean Community, CARICOM, will be held here on Monday and Tuesday at the Bookament Bay Resort. At the two-day meeting, heads of governments will focus especially on information and communication technology, ICT, human resource development, and sustainable development of the region's economy during their two-day summit. The summit will be preceded by a meeting of the Council for Finance and Planning, COFAP, as well as deliberations by the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, the CSME, on Saturday and Sunday. The focus of both preparatory meetings is sustainable growth and economic development of the member states of CARICOM. High on the COFAP's agenda is the receipt of a preliminary report from the Commission on the Economy, which was established following a mandate from the Heads of Government meeting in July 2013. The Commission's focus is on fiscal sustainability, including the management of debt, stimulation of the private sector and the business regulatory environment, the transition to sustainable growth, and resource mobilization. The Prime Ministerial Subcommittee meeting will zero in on the CSME as a platform for sustained economic growth. Recommendations from both meetings will be placed before the heads of government at the intersessional meeting. A number of public servants here are now better equipped to make sound interventions during a crisis, having been exposed to a new paradigm in trauma intervention. A week-long training in crisis management drew participants from the Ministries of Health, Education and Mobilization, the National Insurance Services and the Electoral Office. Speaking at the close of the one-week training program, President of the SVG Seventh-day Adventist Mission, Pastor Baptiste, told the participants not to sit on the information they now possess and to use their knowledge to empower others.
Crisis has a way of bringing people together. And people perhaps that we never intend to rub shoulders with, and bonding is created. Unity takes place, learning is provided, and we are all better equipped to provide the kind of services that people need in times of need.
And Chief Nursing Officer Peggy Da Silva thanked the Seventh-day Adventist Church and all the other stakeholders who came together to make the training possible.
We know that in times of crisis, we need each other, and this capacity building workshop exercise will go a long way in helping persons in times of crisis. So I know that you will put what you have learned into practice and to come out and be there for persons when the need arises, and that you will not keep the information that you have learned here, but that you will put it into practice to help mankind. So I want to thank you all very much, and again, congratulations and thanks to the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Pastor said that it's worth about $50,000 in cash, but I will say that we really cannot put a value to this kind of capacity building because it will be far-reaching. Yes, I want to once again thank everyone and all the best.
Meanwhile, Aldia Gums-Dyer, Senior Education Officer, says the training comes at an opportune time. She says it is important that skilled persons are on hand to respond appropriately during a crisis when persons are both at their best and worst.
The Ministry of Education is well pleased with the Loma Linda University and the Adventist Church for really investing in us at this time. When we invest in our people, then we know how far-reaching this will be. I know that our participants will not take this information and go back and just say, yes, I had a good time. They have been working already, and I want to encourage you to continue to work hard, but I know that you will be better equipped when you leave here this afternoon because you would have added some skills and knowledge to what you already have. So I want to urge you to continue to work hard when you go out and to be tolerant and kind to the children and people in general whom you meet.
Leader of the opposition New Democratic Party, Arnim Eustace, has announced that the NDP will host a joint press conference with the leader of Team Unity out of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris, on Monday, March 10th. According to a media release, the announcement came last night during the party's weekly 2-hour call-in radio program aired on Nice Radio, on which Dr. Harris appeared and outlined the situation in his country. The Speaker of the House of Assembly in St. Kitts is said to have refused to debate a no-confidence motion against the Denzel Douglas administration, who now has the minority in Parliament. The motion was filed by Team Unity and was ventilated in the High Court. According to the NDP, Dr. Harris came here to meet with Eustace and to commend him for speaking out publicly about the situation in St. Kitts Nevis. Dr. Harris is expected to meet with the NDP Parliamentary Caucus and to make a number of media-related appearances during his visit here. Among them will be the joint press conference on Monday, which will take place at the Greenhouse in Cane Grove, Buckermont, close to where the CARICOM heads of government will hold their 2-day conference. The press conference is expected to begin at 11 a.m.